We are here today because we want what? Just pay! Just pay!
We all know that New York could not survive without human services nonprofits. Every day, millions of New Yorkers across the state, from all walks of life, rely on nonprofits for a host of services. During the pandemic, it was our workforce who was at the front lines, ensuring that our communities were healthy and safe.
Nonprofits are one of the critical parts of the fabric of New York. Without nonprofits, so many people would go without the basic necessities. So when we talk about a sustainable New York, we need to figure out how we sustain our nonprofit human service organization, and particularly the workforce.
New York City needs us, but we aren't getting paid like we are important.
The crisis of affordability in New York is not merely for those whom we are helping, but it is for our own workers. So we need to make sure that they get just pay.
Since 2021, elected officials have joined us in the JustPay movement to ensure that human services workers are paid a fair wage for the work that they do.
Every crisis that we've had in this city, you guys have shown up and done the work.
Together, we've been making waves. Last year, the administration and City Council came together to announce an incredible deal for human services workers, an investment of over $741 million in cost of living adjustments for human services workers, which results in a 9% increase, 3% in each of the next 3 years.
With the approval of this new 3-year COLA commitment, I look forward to making a purchase without guilt or worry that I will be short on my rent.
We've also had amazing momentum at the state level. When Governor Hochul took office, she provided the first full COLA the human services sector had seen in over a decade. And in the following 2 years, worked with the legislature to ensure there was at least a partial COLA for human services workers. This was a huge shift in decades of divestment. And it also meant that last year, for the first time ever, we had a human services COLA for city and state workers at the same time. But we didn't get here alone. Our victories come from the tireless organizing of our many nonprofit partners, particularly Catholic Charities, the other coalitions who are joining us today, and nonprofits across the state of New York. We've mobilized over 9,000 people to rally, stayed up all night in the rain outside of City Hall, brought 400 voices to Albany, and flooded elected officials with nearly 8,000 emails and countless calls. But undoing decades of divestment takes time. Systemic change takes time. And really, to have a sustainable nonprofit sector, we need long-term change and investment in human services wages.
You asked me what my hope and my dream were for the human service sector. It would be very simply that we went out of business. It would be that we had a New York where everybody had a decent job, everybody had a decent education, everybody had a decent place to live, everybody had sufficient nutritious meals.
More and more, our elected leaders are understanding that to build a sustainable New York, you need a sustainable nonprofit sector.
So we say thank you. We say thank you. And at the same time, we say we got to keep doing what you've done in this past year in future years.
Today, we stand together with our partners, fighting for change for human services. I have to take this opportunity to thank Governor Hochul and the New York State Assembly and Senate for their incredible partnership in turning the tide on low wages for human services workers. And of course, a big thank you to the city administration and the New York City Council for making important investments in human services. I also have to thank our incredible partners today, Catholic Charities, the SOMOS Planning Committee, our coalition partners, and all of you who are joined us here today at SOMOS to hear so much more about the importance of human services work, both here in Puerto Rico and in New York.
Bienvenidos. Estamos aquí en Puerto Rico. Y la comunidad hispana en Nueva York y en Puerto Rico es muy importante. Las caridades católicas y todos que sirven el pueblo de Nueva York. So, con mucho gusto, nosotros estamos diciendo la importancia de nuestros servicios. Gracias por todos que nos soportan, porque cuando nos soporta nuestros vecinos que necesitan los servicios que nosotros proveemos.
On social media, in the streets, and across the state, the momentum for Just Pay is heard loud and clear. This is how we forge a sustainable future for New York, and this is what a movement looks like. The time is now. We're in this for the long haul.
And we're not stopping until every human services worker is paid what they deserve.
So join us. Please visit our website to join the JustPay movement at justpayny.org.